Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Leo July 2023 Illumination reading. This is I Am Illuminated Tarot reading for Soul Illumination. So hi, everyone, and welcome. My name is Lauren. Thank you for joining me here today. This reading is going to be taking a look at the month ahead, July, for the sign of Leo. So we're going to start by first taking a look at what you're bringing, Leo, to the table, and then we're going to be looking at what Spirit really wants you to embrace throughout the month and move into so that you can bring in a blessing that is coming in for you. Now, we will be looking at a block or a challenge and advice from Spirit as to how to overcome that, as well as the blessing. So let's jump right in here, Leo. So for your energy to start with, we have the Page of Swords. And the Page of Swords is actually a very good energy to have internally as we are coming into a new month. This is the energy of kind of the curious optimist, someone who understands they don't have all the information. It's kind of that feeling of understanding we will never know everything. And this is an individual who's kind of looking. They're the observer. They're trying to gain more information, trying to see perhaps maybe another side to their truth. This would be like trying to get a new perspective on something. And that could be where you are observing someone else in your experience and trying to maybe learn from them, or where you're just trying to gather more information in general around something. So we'll see what else wants to come out here for you. Okay, so we have the Queen of Cups and a card that is very specific to this Rider-Waite-Smith tarot deck. It's a card that, for me, when I work with this deck, it represents very much similar energy to the Lover's card in the Major Arcana, but this one specifically pertains to romantic love, where the Lover's card can be more about just following our heart or making a choice to pursue what we love. But here with the Queen of Cups and this what I would call the romantic Lover's card, there's something here around when we're thinking about what Spirit really wants you to focus on and embrace. Now, for some of you, this could be where you're actually trying to kind of gather more information about someone in your life who's external to you, who is bringing in this energy. But this could also be where you're being asked this month to really kind of move out of the headspace, which is really what the Page of Swords rules. This is, again, being kind of curious in an analytical sense, and moving into a much more romantic and vulnerable space. The Queen of Cups is someone who holds her cup very sacred. And what is in that cup? It's the cup of her emotional connection to her life experience. So this is all the needs that she needs to have met to feel like she's whole, or just in a place of security. These are the dreams she needs to be allowed to follow. These are the hopes and the wishes, all of those things in that cup. And I feel like for many of you, you're being asked to, I think, really look at your own cup, look at your own experience through the lens of emotion, and really look at how you are engaging that vulnerably with others in your life. Because this card, although yes, it's a romantic connection, this can also be where we are just, as you can see in this depiction, kind of giving of ourselves from the heart space, from an emotional space, vulnerably to another or others. So this could be even with how you have a dynamic like this with a friend group or a friendship or a family member. Really, are you coming from the heart? Are you opening up and being vulnerable? And are you also in a place where you can understand your needs, and express that from a healthy place? And really, also, I'm getting the feeling of really respecting your needs, respecting what's in that cup, respecting the dreams and the hopes that you want to follow and bring about there. So for your underlying energy, we have strength. Now that is your card, Leo, in the Major Arcana. So there is something here around really harnessing your energy. And strength doesn't just speak to courage. It speaks to really being able to kind of harness and rein in a little bit that more animalistic side to ourselves, the part of ourself that wants to kind of go rare when someone triggers us, or the part of ourself that can be highly aggressive. This is kind of that grace under fire energy. It can also be where we are just really learning how to be brave and courageous. I mean, Leo, you are the sign that rules the heart. You're also the sign that is ruled by the lion. So there is that courageous heart-centeredness that always comes into play with your sign. But then you have another one of your own cards here, which is the Six of Wands, also a card that's represented by Leo energy. And this is a card of success, recognition, being seen for what you do. And there's a feeling here with the Four of Pentacles underneath both of these cards that there's been kind of a holding back of really stepping up into kind of the biggest, boldest version of yourself. The Four of Pentacles can represent where we are really clinging to physical security, something in the physical that we have. That's what Pentacles represent. But you can see here the individual's holding one of those pentacles in front of his heart chakra. And it's almost like where someone has been too focused on this, on maintaining security, maybe working a little too hard to put money in the bank, something along those lines, where instead of really leaning into this energy, which is really love and vulnerability, that this person's been kind of blocking themselves in the physical plane. And there's something here on also holding back from really, again, showing yourself in a way that is regal and meant to be seen, and to say, look at what I have to celebrate. Look at what I have in my life to be celebrated for. And I kind of get the feeling that for some of you, there's been a little bit of a lack of that. And maybe that's why you're in this kind of energy of introspection, of trying to gain more information. It's almost like, what the heck went wrong? What the heck is going on? Why aren't I feeling as engaged with my partner? Or why maybe do I not feel as emotionally connected to my life? Or this can even be where for some of you, you're kind of questioning, well, how come I don't feel like I have the recognition that I really want? Or I don't have the ability to maybe show myself in the fullest sense. So let's go ahead here and pull some cards. We're going to dive a little deeper now into what the block or the challenge is, looking at that advice from Spirit, and then looking at the blessing that wants to come in as you kind of move from the head space, that curious place, into more of the heart space and true, vulnerable, intimate connection here. So let's see. All right, so we have Ace of Swords and the Lovers. So there is the Lovers card coming out here. So again, very much representing the energy out here. Now the Ace of Swords coming up as your main point of challenge. This is, the Ace of Swords represents clarity. It represents being able to see something clearly. It represents possibly the uncovering of a new truth. It can also just be the chance to reconnect with your own truth. Around the Lovers, there's something here where there may be a kind of a revelation. There may be a aha moment that could be this is your main challenge. Is now you're kind of wondering, okay, now that I've seen that, now that I know the truth of this relationship, well, what do I do with that? Because the Page of Swords holds the Ace of Swords, and he's someone who goes out with a curious mind to say, okay, I have this truth, I have this awareness, but what does that actually mean out there? Now that I have this, what am I supposed to do with that? And this could be for some of you the realization of who you love. It could be a realization of maybe how you've been holding yourself back from something that you love, or being recognized for something that you love in your experience. And this is sending you into that place of, well, maybe why have I not seen this before? Now, I will pull some additional clarifiers, so we'll dive a little deeper into that Ace of Swords as to what the actual revelation is. But there is something here around the truth of you and your perhaps involvement with either a romantic partner in your life, or also just choosing what you love, choosing to follow your heart. Let's see here. Let's see what else needs to come out. Okay, so we have the High Priestess at the heart of your reading. That's what Spirit's asking you really to take a look at and embrace this month, to utilize this. So the High Priestess is the advice. Then we have Four of Pentacles again. So here's that underlying energy coming up. And then the Three of Swords as your final point of kind of breaking through to bring in, this is the blessing right here. And I think for some of you, this is going to be that month where it's going to, how can I put this? Where you're going to realize maybe how much you've been focused on the physical and not enough on the emotional experience for you in your life experience. So we can dive a little further in here. Then we have the Five of Swords. The Five of Swords is your secondary underlying energy, which is someone who kind of doesn't want to see the truth. This is someone someone comes up and says, hey, ding, 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 like here's a point of awareness. And you're like, I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear it. Put my fingers in my ears. A lot of, that's your opinion. It's kind of a combative energy. Now, kind of just moving through this, the High Priestess at the heart of your reading, this is saying it's time to really go within. To really, when we think of the Lovers and the High Priestess, they both bring in the energy of kind of making a choice. Now, the Lovers represents the number 6, which does harness the energy of love. It does also harness, for me, the energy of what we can create in the physical, what we can manifest when we choose what we love, when we choose who we love, when we choose to follow, again, a passion or a career path or to bring love into our life. How much can be created through that, more so than just maybe sitting on a little bit of money or a little bit of physical security and clinging to that. So there's a lesson here around really embracing what you love and really being able to, I think, kind of shift focus so much from safety and security in the physical to more about embracing the emotional quality, the kind of romantic essence of life. And with the High Priestess, this also speaks to really going within and being able to walk between light and dark, understanding both parts of yourself and understanding that both parts are integral, that we can't, kind of like here with the Strength card, there's an angel with the lion, and there has to be both. There can't just be the lion who is out there left unchecked without some other kind of opposing force who's going to come in and be the calming, gentle, less aggressive counterpart to that. And there can't also just be the angelic angel who's sweet and soft, because again, then there would be nothing. There would be, when we think about the lion and having that strength, often when someone is very soft and kind of gracious, they don't often initiate. They don't often have the courage to take that first step or to go for something. So there definitely has to be that interplay. And I think the High Priestess coming up here is really asking you to bring those two parts of yourself together, that you can't turn your back on one aspect of yourself, maybe the more passionate, ferocious, fiery part, but you also can't turn your back on the part that really needs to bring sometimes a little bit of a calming energy, a little bit of grace under fire, and learning how to trust your intuition from where do you feel called to follow your heart, and how can you start to live from that place daily? How can you start to express from that place daily? This would be like waking up and realizing that you've been in a long-term relationship and all you've been doing every day is focusing on, again, work, and you haven't been actually turning to your partner and saying, I love you, let's, enjoy a romantic something together, or let's sit and just talk, or whatever it is, because you've been so focused on, but I have to maintain this little level of security here, this little bit of the money that I have. Or this would be like saying, I want to make a choice in love. I want to embrace life. I want to go for that new career path that really lights me up. But I'm going to just play it small and keep doing my little 9 to 5 or working my little, minimum wage job, because even though there's a big spotlight on love in my life and romantic connection and honoring my needs that need to be met, I'm going to just keep focusing on just maintaining. There's a little bit of a feeling of maintaining. I just need to maintain. I just need to maintain in the physical. And there's like this big spotlight of saying, Leo, it's time to open your heart. It's time to really look at what you love, and it's time to let the light in a little bit, because with the Three of Swords speaks to deep wounding, especially wounds from others that have pierced us, whether this is people in our life who, turn their back on us, friend groups, family, ex-lovers, people who told us basically through their actions and maybe even through their words that we were not good enough. We were not worthy of their love. We were not worthy of their support. We were not worthy of whatever. And this is saying it's time to face that and realize that for some of you to kind of combat actually feeling the pain of that, you've held a coin in front of your heart for some time, and that's holding something in the physical so that you could hide behind that wall. And this would be like someone who just puts their head down and goes to work every day and chooses not to kind of let the pain in, to also let the light in, the Ace of Swords, and then let the love in. So there's something here around that. Where it's time to really say there needs to be this month less focus on the physical and more focus on the pain that needs to be released to allow you to really embrace vulnerability and love and to open yourself up again, but doing so in a way that is courageous, kind of the grace under fire again, but also opening yourself up to really allowing yourself to be seen. The Six of Wands is the homecoming hero. This is the individual where people are like, yay, finally, there you are, you've returned. You've returned to us. So I feel like for maybe some of you, you have gone a little inward. Maybe you have been hiding a little bit behind work, or you have been a little too focused on money or some kind of security on that level. And it's time now to really allow yourself to be seen for who you are, not what you have. Okay, let's go ahead here and dive a little deeper into the Ace of Swords. What does Leo need to know about the Ace of Swords? Okay, oh, we have the Eight of Wands. So that's fast movement. This is a lot going on. A lot of action. It can also be quick communication. So it can be communication that actually leads to forward movement. And then we have Strength and the Four of Cups. So here's that Strength card coming out again. Now the Four of Cups speaks to someone who is kind of sitting in a place of dissatisfaction with their life on an emotional level. It's the individual who's looking at three cups right here and kind of like, it's the three cups beyond himself. And that can sometimes represent friend and support groups, because the Three of Cups as its own card represents that, the people who celebrate us and the people that we can openly kind of share ourselves with. And then there's the Ace of Cups here, his cup, that's kind of left off to the side. And so there's a feeling of either feeling like you've been left out of a social group, and that you're kind of off by yourself, or that there's a little too much focus on looking for other things to bring a level of emotional fulfillment, when instead this individual really needs to be focusing on the connection to their own cup. Again, looking within to be curious, to say, what needs am I not having met on an emotional level? What dreams have I forgotten that I want to pursue? What and who do I love in my life? And having the courage to do that. This could be even for some of you having the courage to reconnect with a social group again, going back out if there has been the wounds of the past, and really kind of opening those lines of communication again, especially with the Eight of Wands. Okay, the Lovers. Let's go ahead here and see what's going on with the Lovers card. Okay, so we have the King of Wands. Yeah, that's and again, more of your energy. You're getting a lot of your own energy here, Leo. So the King of Wands is someone who leads from their passion. They don't hide what they're passionate about. They actually lead from that place. They speak to what they're passionate about. Every time they choose to take an action, it's based on what lights them up. It's also the energy of someone who could be like the fiery, dynamic CEO, someone who is a business owner, someone who says, here I am, and I'm not taking no for an answer kind of individual. Now with this, we have the Two of Cups and the Queen of Wands. Very interesting, because this with the Queen of Wands and the King of Wands, this is kind of a destined pair. It's two people who are fiery, two people who balance the masculine and the feminine together. And with the Two of Cups, this is the beautiful energy of actually coming together on an emotional level. This is emotional partnership, equal partnership. So for some of you, there's a realization that there is someone in your life, and if it is a romantic partner, that they literally are the yin to your yang. And that with both of you being in a healthy place and coming together on an emotional level, you can also balance that out with kind of stoking your own internal passions and really allowing both of you to express from that passionate place, but also bringing in the emotional connection. If this is not about someone specifically, and this is more about just love and opening yourself up to love in general, this can be actually balancing the feminine and the masculine within your own self to really harness both of those from a place of healthy connection, that you can actually connect yourself, these two parts of yourself, with others in a balanced way, so that you're not overly aggressive. And kind of, again, when you think about the dynamic CEO, sometimes they can be that person who just will step on somebody else to go towards what they want. Or the Queen of Wands can be the opposite, where she is just always trying to be seen and will step in front of somebody else to be seen first. So there's something here around, for some of you, this could just be balancing both of those parts of yourself and bringing them together into like just one harmonious, balanced place, to where you are ready to receive on, other people's passions, and ready to kind of, be internal, but also showing it in an outward way as well. But for others, you are actually working with a pair, with you and someone else, and you are a very good match for each other. But there needs to be this emotional connection. Maybe that emotional connection kind of hasn't been there. Maybe both of you have been kind of doing your own separate thing for a while. Okay, so for the High Priestess, we have the Six of Coins, which the Six of Pentacles really speaks to balance in the physical. It's a return on your investment. It's also understanding that at any given time you may, that we may be on the receiving end of being able to receive from other people, and then other times we can be on the giving end of things. Maybe things are great in our life and we have the opportunity to give to another, but there's something here about balance and understanding. What I'm really seeing here, the Hanged Man and the Six of Pentacles, is there's a change in perspective around where I think for some time there's been this feeling of, I don't have enough. I need to really cling to what little I have. I need to cling to the security. I need to kind of hide behind my work ethic. And this is saying there's a change in perspective to where there's a deep knowing now that you see the return on your investment in the physical. You realize that you actually have more than just enough. And you might be seeing now where you can kind of pull yourself back from so much of the focus here, and where you can start to focus more on the emotional side to your experience. Because we can't actually grow and manifest the things that we want fully when we only focus on one aspect of our life experience. And I think, Leo, for many of you, you've been focused a lot on getting yourself to a healthy place in the physical, but that may have been not allowing you to process some heart kind of wounding that needed to be processed, so that you can open yourself up now to love, and possibly a very dynamic partnership here. That, this could even be a business partnership, where if you get to be one half of that, that's going to be a very successful partnership here. Okay, so let's go ahead and see about the Four of Pentacles on this side. So we have, the Page of Coins. I love it. Page of Pentacles is someone who is getting ready. Oh, and then we have Justice. And Justice came out reversed. So again, I don't put reversals in my deck. When they come out reversed, this is kind of a pointed message. So we have the Justice card here, but it came out upside down, meaning that when Justice comes out reversed, this can be where there is an injustice or an imbalance, because it does speak to balancing of the scales. So there may be where the imbalance has been that you have not been able to maybe pursue something new. With the Page of Coins or the Page of Pentacles, this is someone who takes a little bit of what they have, and they go out there and they start to work with it. They start to take that one step forward to say, okay, how can I, it's almost like this individual, if they just took the one pentacle away from the front of their heart and said, okay, what can I do with this? I need to put this down right now. I need to open myself up emotionally. How can I continue to grow these pentacles without me just being stuck here, being stuck, kind of just holding and balancing this little bit that I have. And I think that's the realization that as soon as you free yourself to be curious, again, there's a lot of this, with pages when they come in, there's a level of curiosity of what else can I do with this? What more? How can I make this work more for me? And that will help, I think, show you where there's been an imbalance, where there's been, again, that too much focus on the physical and not enough on going out there with a curious mind to see what else is out there. How can you now grow on the foundation of the safety and security you already have in the physical? All right. And for some of you, this might be the breaking of a contract, to be honest. This could be where suddenly you decide to leave your job and you decide to be curious as to what else might be out there for you instead of clinging to kind of the same routine you've been in for quite some time. This could also be in any aspect of your physical experience, your home life, how you choose to work with your time. This could be like where you have a routine and you do the same thing every single day, and it's saying, well, what if I just take a little bit of this time and I go out and I see what else I can do with that. And this could even be with like the breaking of a contract where you're like, I told somebody I was going to do this for them and I realize I can't. I can't be the person who, watches the kids after school every day in the neighborhood. I told them I could, but I gotta make room for something new. There's something along those lines here. So kind of keep that in mind that this could be actually the breaking of a contract for yourself so that you can kind of free yourself to have a little bit more time or have a little bit more, kind of see what else you can do again with what you have. And then here comes the Page of Swords again. So this is, again, you coming through to the end, and you're curious as to what are those wounds you haven't allowed yourself to feel? And then what are those wounds, that are kind of trickling down from the mental space that are now coming into the emotional space? And again, this is people who have told you you're not good enough, people who have turned their back on you, people who, fill in the blank, anything that would make us, kind of haunt us in the emotional space, but through those words that kind of pierce in the mental. And where can you be curious as to maybe where your own truth has been hidden behind that, where you haven't really, again, allowed yourself to be fully open and vulnerable to others around you? Yeah, Seven of Cups. That's really, I think for many of you, this is about really seeing where maybe you've cut yourself off from the opportunity of connecting with others on the emotional level, of opportunities for emotional fulfillment, of opportunities for emotional connection, because you haven't wanted to face these wounds. You haven't wanted to kind of pull away this pentacle, and you haven't wanted to really look at the wound that needs to heal underneath, that needs to open itself up for love that really wants to come in for you. This is kind of coming in off of also the collective energy for the reading that I did this week, where it was really about like looking at, there are people in your life that want to come in and give you love and support, but sometimes we can hold ourselves back from actually opening ourselves up to that. And we don't even realize how much we are holding ourselves kind of stoically, which can be the Strength card too, where we're stoically holding ourselves, upright, and we'll keep making it through. And it's like, but with the Ten of Swords coming in here, it says, there's been something very hard that you've gone through. The Ten of Swords is when we are brought to our knees. And this can be a time in the past that you've gone through, and now it's kind of coming back up to be revisited. And the pain that still is kind of seeping through and needs to finally be released so that you can really see where there are new options, again, for true emotional connection and a possible real connection with a kind of divine partnership here. or this is happening now and you're kind of not wanting to see it. The Five of Swords and the Ten of Swords, this could be where you're trying to fight that feeling of, oh my gosh, like I've cut myself off. I am alone. I am hurt. All the things I've gone through have really hurt me. And I need time to heal. I need time to connect. I need time to have someone come in and just hold me and hug me. And, it could be something along those lines. And it's time to just say, you know what, you went through something difficult. And it's time to allow the light to come in and to really see who's there to love and support you, to help you through this, or to see some how would I say this? Let's do a realization around where maybe you've been holding yourself back from really following your heart, following your passion, following something that lights your fire, because you've been too worried about just holding on to what you have instead of being kind of the curious adventurer to say, well, what else can I do out there? And if that means that I have to break a contract, well, then so be it. Or just in you going out to be curious and how maybe even you could change your routine, or you can start to look at how you can invest your money in a different way. That's going to right an imbalance that's currently affecting your life. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a look at a couple more pieces of advice from Spirit. So I'm pulling an energy oracle card here just to get a little more into the energy of the month for you guys. So you have the Temple. Ooh, look at this. Very interesting. It's like a palindrome here. You have the Temple Path number 12 and you have Strategy number 21. So they're, mirror opposites of each other there with the numbers. Very, very interesting, because for me, the number 12 is the number of God. It is the number that is true divinity. It is wholeness. It is bringing our heart, our work ethic, and understanding nothing in life is worth anything unless we have connection. So it's partnership, love, and work ethic, and they all come together to create that wholeness. And the Temple Path to me really speaks to being on the right path, realizing that you're supported and that, again, you're always you're being guided. Then with Strategy, there's also this feeling, though, as well as to how can you start to really kind of take the reins back in your own life, to have the strength to start to create a strategy of opening yourself up again. I'm going to pull a couple clarifiers here, but 12 and 21, they both reduce to the number 3 in numerology, and the number 3 is also the number of divinity. It's the number of creativity. It's the number of greeting life with the innocence of a child. So very much getting into that beautiful, creative, childlike, curious energy, and really there's a part of kind of trusting that your path is where you're going in the right direction, but also understanding too your own part in developing a strategy towards how are you going to open yourself up now to the new and to really release the pain of what you've gone through here. Okay, so let me get my additional, my additional deck here. It's almost like in a way too, I'm kind of hearing, how can you strategize to get yourself back on track? Maybe some of you guys have been off track for a while and you're realizing it. You're like, wow, I've kind of been on the sidelines for a while. It's time for me to get back on my path. Maybe that path is connecting with someone specifically. Maybe that path is simply, again, getting back on a path of doing something that you love, something that could be even creative but divinely inspired. Let's see, Temple Path. Yeah, 10 of Pentacles. That's your ultimate legacy. It's like getting back on track to focus on going from kind of the 4 of Pentacles to the 10 of Pentacles. How are you going to... It's time to let go. Let go and let God a little bit here. But remember that what we can manifest when we really choose to open our hearts, when we choose to be vulnerable to the people in our life, it's incredible what can come in for us, how much more we can manifest in the physical than if we just kind of cling and focus on each penny that comes in or every minute that we have to have structured. Now, I love it with the 6 of Cups. The 6 of Cups, this is almost like looking back to the past and remembering what you had originally wanted for yourself, and to say, okay, I got a little off track here. And probably because of the pain of the past. This can be, even with the Six of Cups is going back in time. It can be nostalgia. It can also represent making peace with the past. Maybe there's been something in the past that you now see in a new light. You now experience emotionally from a different perspective because of you just living past that point, and now being able to look back and say, I used to see it that way, but now I can see the lesson I've learned, and I'm going to bring that forward for myself. But what I'm really feeling more here is it's about going back to a past version of yourself, that version of yourself that it was the innocent version of yourself, when you did feel loved and supported, when you did feel like you had everything on this level. And then what was your dream then for what you wanted to experience? What was your 10 of Pentacles at that time? Your ultimate legacy, the home, the family, how you spend your time. Like, that's all the 10 of Pentacles here. What you want to pass down to your children eventually. And going back to looking at that from a more innocent perspective and saying, how can you get back on track and moving towards that? And then with strategy, here comes the Queen of Wands. I love it. So that might be a partner in your life. So Queen of Wands can bring in the energy of Aries. It can also just bring in an individual who is just fiery. They're kind of showy in and of themselves. They kind of bring in like a witch archetype. And this might be, this is, let's say, a business partnership, this could be the person coming in and being like, so you open yourself up to emotionally connect with them, and they say, hey, I have a strategy to make this happen. This could be if you finally are opening up to a partner in your life on a more vulnerable level, and this partner says, hey, you say you want to make 4 of Pentacles turn into 10 of Pentacles. Well, let's sit down and develop a strategy, and I might be able to be the one to help you out with that. So really open yourself up there to someone who kind of embodies that energy. Or anyone who wants to come into your life at this point, be it a romantic partnership, or be it a work partnership, a friendship, family member, somebody wants to come back in and really connect with you on that kind of fire to fire level. And with the Three of Swords here's that Three of Swords again, pain of the past. Now, it might be that you need to be able to, this part of the strategy is looking at where you've been playing it small because the pain keeps coming up. Where have you not allowed yourself to kind of go back to this belief in what you want to create for yourself, what you're capable of creating, because of where you feel just that kind of agonizing pain of they left me, or they didn't love me, or I went through a breakup, something along those lines. And it's saying this is maybe a strategy to get beyond that. Now, for some of you Leos, it might be that it's like, this could be somebody who says, hey, let's go to counseling together. Hey, let's, maybe if it's too much of a focus on money, let's talk to a financial advisor. Or, hey, let's just look together at these wounds, and let's build a path to get you back on track where you're facing this, the happy family kind of feeling here. Even though it's not the 10 of Cups, the 10 of Pentacles still brings in that kind of energy. Okay, so now let's go ahead and I'm going to pull a Power of Surrender card. Let's see what you need to surrender to this month. Okay, we have surrender to your full power. Wow, with that beautiful lion energy. Yeah, you're being asked to, just like I felt from the beginning, where have you been playing it small? Where have you not been showing yourself? Where have you kind of been hiding in the shadows because of the fear of opening yourself up to the wounds that have kind of been needing to be addressed in your heart space? It says your life is calling for you to step into your full power rather than playing it small. And there's the two. I like how this is a very different depiction of the lion energy here. One is the lion roaring openly with kind of the angelic being now looks like a warrior, and she is standing firmly next to him, allowing him to kind of bellow out like, this is me. versus over here where she's kind of, closing the jaws of the lion and telling the lion to be quiet. So there's something here about really allowing, I think, yourself to just go out there. And instead of maybe, if this is like the strength of your own internal battle, so maybe it's time now to like stop controlling yourself so much. Let your fire be seen. Maybe part of your fire had been extinguished by the pain of some past event or by others turning their back on you, and it's saying it's time to step back out into that. And that might actually, again, really attract a partner to you who is ready to really be that, destined partnership. It might also just be this is about you and your partner allowing each other to really, when you kind of like this depiction also really does represent the King of Wands and the Queen of Wands, right? The Queen of Wands is standing firm in her own fire, and the King of Wands is the one going out there and initiating, roaring so that other people can see. And there's something about that here. It's like you really need to draw attention to yourself, be courageous in that, draw attention to the other people or the potential partnerships in your life, and really understand that there is someone in your experience, whether it is someone yet to come in, whether it is someone who is already here in your life, who's ready and willing to support you, to be kind of your side by side, and that both of you, it's time for you both to shine together, be this in business, be this friendship, be this in romantic partnership. But that's beautiful energy. It's time to step it up, Leo. No more playing it small. No more hiding in the shadows. No more letting the pain of the past prevent you from really moving forward and stepping up now as your best and brightest self. Okay, I'm going to pull a final card here, and I will read the excerpt that comes with this oracle deck in the book that comes with it. Let's see here. So what's the final point of awareness for Leo for the month of July? What does Leo need to know for the month of July? Oh, we have past life activation. I like that because that kind of comes through with the Six of Cups. So it's number 35, breaks down to the number 8. So for some of you, you might actually be with past life activation. I always look at this as either, if you don't believe in true past lives, this could be more where, now for those of you that do, this can be where like old gifts are kind of coming back online, a realization of what you love, a realization of what you want to do, a realization of what you want to build that's coming in from some, kind of out of left field, perhaps, for some of you. This can also be, though, where you're looking back at an earlier version of yourself in this life experience, where you are saying, I forgot that when I started out at 22, I really wanted to do this. And somehow I got way off track, or you could go back and say, wow, like I haven't painted in 25 years. And I think it's time for me to start doing that again. I stopped when I went through a painful divorce, and now it's time for me to open myself back up. And then I bring in again someone who comes in and says, oh my gosh, I have a paint studio. Would you love to come in? And then another partner comes in and says, oh my gosh, I have a gallery. And then all of a sudden you are, part owner of a gallery where your own paintings get to be sold. There's something here that's like, this can really be that catalytic moment for you guys to not only get back on track and forward movement, but also to really, I think, when you think about getting on track with your full power, it's like stepping into your divine destiny, truly what you are here to do. So especially with number 35 breaking down to number 8, that is the number of empowered leadership and physical abundance when we choose to really step up and lead from that place of like an empowered self. So it says, you have talents within that have been developed through many varied life experiences. You have had many lifetimes already, even if you don't recall them consciously, helping you evolve and grow into the loving being that you are today. Your desire to grow in consciousness and spiritual power, to assist the divine plan unfolding throughout the universe, is heard and supported by the spiritual worlds in all ways. To this end, past life material is being activated now for your benefit and the greater good. It says, your soul has a history of lifetimes through which it has learned to be wise and developed certain talents. You have learned lessons and acquired skills and abilities. Sometimes these were mastered through very challenging circumstances. You might feel you are obtaining mastery in certain areas again this lifetime, again through challenging circumstances. The soul can certainly develop through joy, love, and happiness, but often it is through an experience of conquering a challenge that the real gems are won for the crown of the soul. So it says the oracle of past life activation comes to you in a power you developed in a past life that would be useful for you to access in your current lifetime. Comes to you in a power you developed in a past life that would be useful for you to access in your current life. I know it's a weirdly written sentence there. It says, perhaps this talent or ability will become the seed of a spiritual vocation for you, a skill that expands your career or brings you personal joy. The ability that surfaces from the depths of your soul will be whatever is of greatest benefit to you now. Love this, Leo. There's something waiting to come up to the surface through your heart, through your emotional self. And it's time to get really curious this month about what that is. Where have you not really been stepping into your full power? Where has there been an imbalance happening because you've been too focused on just clinging to what has been, what is? This can be clinging to, again, a routine where you do exactly the same thing every day, clinging to a job you've been at for way too long, and there might be additional options of growth out there, clinging to how you manage your money or how you live your life. This would be like saying, I'm going to just stay in this 1-bedroom apartment, even though my heart and soul is yearning for so much more. My 10 of Pentacles, I'm going to just keep staying here. And there's something about that. And it's because as soon as you start to move forward and you start to be curious, that's when you open your heart chakra to feel the pain of the past. But once you do that, it's also bringing in so much love, so much personal empowerment, and so much energy, kind of getting you back on track towards really, I think, fulfilling your divine potential. So big month for you, Leo. I hope you all really take this to heart, as I know only you Leos can. I hope you have a wonderful month ahead doing so. If you would like to book a personal reading, you can click on the link in the description box below to visit my website. All of the other signs, July readings should be up on my channel as well. So if you'd like to check out other signs in your birth chart, you can do so. Also, if you would like a weekly message, I do a weekly collective reading that's usually put out either on Sunday evening or Monday morning. And then I do a short, just energy read for the week ahead that's about 10 minutes for each sign as well. So if you'd like to check that out, you can subscribe to my channel and get notified as soon as I put up those videos each week. All right, Leo, again, I wish you all a wonderful month of July, and I look forward to seeing you all in August for your next illumination reading. Bye.